You ever feel like your brain has its own secret code running in the background? A set of hidden rules and shortcuts that kind of nudge your decisions without you even noticing? Well, you're not wrong. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on those invisible shortcuts that are quite literally running your life. So here's what we've got lined up. First, we'll expose your brain's laziest secret. Then, you'll meet the two systems battling it out in your head. After that, we're taking a tour of some of the biggest mental mistakes out there. We're talking echo chambers and, yeah, a really weird showdown between a shark and a vending machine. And don't worry, we'll wrap up by showing you exactly how to get back in the driver's seat. All right, first up, your brain's lazy secret. Let's get right to the heart of it. Your brain, and I hate to break it to you, is kind of lazy. It will always prefer the path of least resistance. Think about this for a second. You're scrolling through your feed and bam, you see a headline that just clicks. It confirms everything you already thought. You instantly tap on it, maybe even share it. That little rush you feel, that aha, I knew it moment, that's not a coincidence. So what's happening there? It all comes down to something called cognitive ease. I mean, think about it. Your brain is an organ, and it burns calories. Actually challenging your own beliefs, that takes a ton of energy. But agreeing with what you already think? That's cheap fuel. It feels good because it's easy for your brain to do. Which brings us to this great metaphor. Your brain is a cognitive miser. Seriously, it hates spending energy. It's always looking for the cheapest, fastest way to get things done. And these mental shortcuts we're talking about, they are its absolute favorite budgeting tricks. All right, let's meet the two minds in your head. Now, to really get why your brain is such a penny pincher, we have to meet the two characters running the show up there. And no, this isn't some sci-fi movie. This is real, foundational psychology. This whole idea was made famous by the Nobel Prize winner Daniel Kahneman. He basically described it as a story of two different systems, almost two different personalities that are always at work inside your mind, shaping every single thought and decision. On one side, you have System 1. This is your gut. It's fast, automatic, totally emotional. It's what kicks in when you instantly recognize a friend in a crowd or duck when a ball flies at your head. Then you've got System 2. This is your slow, deep thinker, the logical one. This is the part of your brain you fire up to solve a tricky math problem or learn a new language. The thing is, System 2 is incredibly powerful, but it gets tired really, really easily. And here's the kicker. This is where it all goes wrong. Those mental biases we're talking about, they're basically glitches in the matrix. They happen when your fast, impulsive System 1 takes over a job that really, really needed the slow, careful work of System 2. Okay, so let's dive into our first specific bias. This is a big one. Some people call it the mother of all biases. It's the one responsible for building those echo chambers we all find ourselves stuck in. It's called confirmation bias. And look, this isn't just about being stubborn. It's an active hunt. Your brain literally goes out on a mission to find any piece of information that proves you're right, and at the same time, it just magically ignores anything that might suggest you're wrong. Think of it like this. Your brain becomes a heat-seeking missile. Once it has a target, a belief, it locks on. So if you believe you're an unlucky person, your brain will spend the entire day scanning for proof. It'll zoom in on that one time someone cut you in line and totally ignore the 10 nice things that happened to you. You can actually break it down into a simple 3-step process. Let's call it data pruning. Step 1, you form a belief. Step 2, your System 1 goes on autopilot, seeking out anything and everything that supports that belief. And Step 3, this is the most important part, it actively deletes or just dismisses any data that doesn't fit. Your entire reality gets filtered without you even knowing it. All right, moving on to our next bias. For this one, I want you to imagine a battle, a great white shark versus a vending machine. Seriously, which one do you think is more dangerous? Whatever you answered, it probably just revealed another one of your brain's shortcuts, the availability heuristic. See, our brains has this little bug in their programming. We mistake how easily we can remember something with how likely it is to actually happen. If we can picture it vividly in our heads, we just assume it's a huge risk. And why is that? It's because a dramatic, emotional story, like a shark attack from a movie, leaves a huge, vivid mark on our memory. It's more available when our brain does a quick search. Back in the day, this was great. It kept us away from saber-toothed tigers. But today, it makes us absolutely terrible at figuring out modern risks.
Just look at this. The risk we perceive from a shark attack is massive, right? Thanks to Hollywood and the news, it feels like a very real threat. But the actual statistical risk, it's tiny. In fact, it's way, way smaller than the risk of being injured or even killed by a falling vending machine. I'm not kidding. Our feelings are driving the bus here, not the facts.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit. This next bias is all about our social world. It's a huge error we all make in how we judge ourselves versus how we judge, well, everybody else. It's called the fundamental attribution error, and it basically creates this giant double standard in our heads. When someone else messes up, we tend to blame their character. It's who they are. But when we do the exact same thing, oh, we blame the situation. This table lays it out perfectly. Imagine a coworker is late for a meeting. What's your first thought? Your system one jumps right to a character judgment. Ugh, they're so unreliable, or they just don't care. But what happens when you're late? Well, it was the traffic, right? Traffic was an absolute nightmare. See the difference? They have character flaws. You just had a bad day. So we've seen how these shortcuts and biases just run on autopilot. It kind of feels like we're not in control, right? So the big question is, can we actually do anything about it? And the answer is a big yes. It's time to learn how to take back the wheel. The key to doing this has a fancy name, metacognition, but all it really means is thinking about your thinking. That's it. It's the simple act of hitting the pause button on your automatic system 1 and bringing in your logical system 2 to ask a few questions. Like, hang on a second, why do I believe that so strongly? Or, is that a gut feeling, or is it based on actual evidence? And that's the goal right there. You want to move from being a passenger in your own mind to being the driver. Look, you can't just get rid of these biases. They're hardwired into our brains. But by practicing metacognition, by just being aware of them, you can learn to spot them. You can build little mental speed bumps that force you to slow down. You stop being a passenger just carried along by these hidden currents, and you become the one who's actually steering. So, I'll leave you with this to chew on. Now that you know what to look for, which one of these biases did you catch yourself doing today? Because just noticing it, that's the first and most important step to taking back control.